Wichita, Kansas, located on the Arkansas River in the south central area of the state, is home to over 350,000 people. Positioned on the historic Chisholm Trail, Wichita became a destination for cattle drives headed north to access railroads to the east. In the 20th century, aircraft pioneers such as Clyde Cessna, Walter Beach, and Bill Lear began projects that would lead to Wichita's establishment as the air capital of the world. These men founded companies in the 1920s and early 30s that remain based in Wichita today, along with Airbus and Boeing, just to name a few.
Wichita is rich in Native American history. It is known for its position in Tornado Alley. It was also here two brothers started a small business named Pizza Hut.
The people of this great city are very religious. There are many large churches with their beautiful buildings and grand properties, but God is not pleased with their religion. It's all in vain. How shall they hear of God to whom they will give an account someday? They must be told of our loving Savior instead of the many other gospels which will lead them astray. Wichita is a fast-growing metropolis with many things for the devil to use to keep their attention. We are Jason and Rebecca Owens. Having the privilege to grow up in a Christian home where my dad and mom both served the Lord faithfully, I learned at an early age of my need of a Savior, accepted Him, and was baptized. At the age of 18, I joined the Army. While stationed at Fort Riley, I met and married Rebecca. Following 8 years of service, we returned to Manhattan, Kansas, where we became actively involved in the start of Harvest Baptist Church. It was there God called me to preach. Later, the Lord began to break my heart because of the multitudes of people that need to hear the gospel.
I grew up in a loving, religious home. In my young adult life, I started to feel empty inside, like I was just going through the motions, but something was missing. When I met Jason, he invited me to church where I learned of Jesus and my need to accept Him. On October 14, 1995, I knelt down beside my bed and asked Jesus into my heart. Shortly after, I was baptized. We were married on March 23, 1996, and I look forward to helping my husband reach the great people of Wichita.
God used Isaiah 61:1 to give me direction. True freedom begins with Christ, and He must be proclaimed without shame. Liberty Baptist Church will be a voice in Wichita to proclaim liberty. Our mission is to impact Wichita by proclaiming Jesus Christ for the purpose of establishing a local, independent Baptist church. Through God's grace, we will accomplish this by preaching the gospel, baptizing new Christians, discipling them, supporting and sending missionaries around the world, and planting churches here in America, thus fulfilling the Great Commission found in Matthew chapter 28. This statue in the center of the city represents the natives that once called this area of Kansas home. The inscription at its base reads,
With his face raised to the sky, he extends his arms in supplication to the Great Spirit. Everything around him is holy.
But only God is holy, and prayer should be made only to God. They must hear the truth. Wichita is home to the McConnell Air Force Base, which employs over 2,800 airmen who serve their country on active duty. McConnell is part of the Air Mobility Command, and its primary mission is to provide air refueling and airlift where and when needed. This commitment also includes support for the Department of Defense, from strategic force protection and mobility to humanitarian assistance. May the sun not set again without the opportunity to tell these great servicemen and women about our loving Savior. Wichita State University, established in 1895, covers 330 acres in the northeast portion of the city, with a yearly enrollment of over 14,000 students on 3 campuses. There are many athletic opportunities offered, with much of the emphasis on baseball. The Shocker baseball program has the 4th best all-time NCAA winning percentage and won a national championship in 1989. We will look for opportunities to reach the students on and off the campus. In addition to Wichita State, there are also religious universities, community colleges, and technical institutes. While many young adults are trying to find academic knowledge, we will be taking the knowledge of the truth directly to them.
In the north central area of the city, there is a large population of Spanish-speaking people who also need to hear the gospel. One of our goals will be to someday start a Spanish ministry.
Hi, I'm Stephen Henderson, pastor of the Harvest Baptist Church. 6 years ago, the Lord led me and my wife to plant a church in Manhattan, Kansas. From our very first Sunday, the Owens have been dedicated and faithful workers. As the Lord did in Acts 13, He chose the choicest of servants that were already ministering to go. Brother Owens is a deacon and our youth and music director. They both have worked in our children's church, bus ministry, jail ministry, and more. Being at Harvest from the beginning, they've seen firsthand the joys, struggles, and work of church planting and are prepared to make it through the days of planting Liberty Baptist Church. Godly character, God's call, and a burden for lost souls are traits that I have witnessed and believe they are committed to God's plan for their lives. It is with great joy and confidence that I recommend them to you, knowing that God is going to use them greatly in Wichita as He has in Manhattan. Thank you for your prayers and consideration to make them part of your missions program.
She